This week's video was going to be something else, and I'm upset, but we're adapting. It's fine, it's fine. This week I am going to be working on a vintage waistcoat. The pattern itself says it's vintage. I believe, I don't know if it's reproduction or if it's just a straight up old pattern that someone found and were able to digitize. We'll be recreating this. I got some really beautiful fabric. I got a linen cotton blend. It's so pretty. I'm very much looking forward to this. I cannot wait. I will be using this for the outer shell, I guess you could say, of the waistcoat, but then I have a solid gray cotton that I will be using for the inside. But like antique looking buttons that are in the mail and they're on the way here. I'm only going to be using 5 for this pattern. This is the pattern I have decided to work on for the waistcoat. It is I believe it's a reproduction of a pattern from the 1950s. I will be doing this guy right here. That is style number 4. When you buy a pattern online, check everything about it. I bought a pattern and the printing directions for at home were very confusing to me. It had so many hoops that I had to jump through, and then it wanted me to print on A4 paper, but I am in the United States and we don't do A sizes. And then I looked right above that and it said, oh, you can take it to a copy shop. So I'm like, oh, I'll just do that. And I went to look online to see what their hours were, and I saw that you could place an order online. Only problem with that was that in the instructions, the only dimensions it gave you to print it as was 36 inches, and that was it. They just said, oh, 36 inches, and I'm like, by what? And so I'm like, well, this is good enough. I went onto the website, and there were 2 options for 36 inches. There were 36 inches lengthwise and 36 inches widthwise. I picked the one where 36 inches was the bigger measurement, and then I waited. During that time, I talked to the person I bought the pattern from, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry that you're having such issues. I'll see if I can send you a tiled thing so that you can just print it on your printer at home. And I thought that was going to solve all of my problems. However, when I placed the order, it was like 1:30 in the morning. And so I was like, oh, I'll just call them and like cancel the order. And when I called, they're like, oh, well, it's not business hours. Call back when it's business hours. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. So when it was later in the morning, and as I was just getting connected to the little robot that goes through the thing, I got a phone call. And they're just like, hey, just wanted to let you know that we have your order done. And I'm like, okay, so now I can't cancel it. So I went in to get it, and this is it right here. And there was more confusion. So this was what I was given originally. Grabbed it, and he brought it to the counter, and he's like, okay, it looks like you've paid already. Here you go. And I was just about to grab it and just leave when he's like, oh, do you want to take a look at it first? And I'm like, sure, may as well. To be a sleeve right here. This is my hand. This sleeve, if you will remember, this sleeve is supposed to be at least 3/4 length, and this is my hand. So we pulled it out, and he was like, I don't really know what this is supposed to be, but it doesn't really look right to me. And I pointed the sleeve specifically. I'm just like, this is a sleeve. And he's like, oh. This is the sleeve. This is my hand. So it's better. Already, like once I got back to my place and I looked at this, I'm like, I still don't think this is big enough. I'm gonna have to scale it up. And I'm like, well, I do have one more option. I did get that email about the tile print. So I was able to get the pattern printed off myself, and it was still on the small side, and it was like slightly skewed because the instructions say to use A4 paper, that the pattern is scaled for A4 paper. I printed it off on letter paper, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't really seem big enough. Come to find out, there was another part I didn't read that said that it was made for a 30-inch bust. And that also means, especially because there's such a taper at the waist, that the waist is even smaller than that. That meant to me, oh, regardless of what I do, I need to scale up slightly. So I did that. I did about 1.5 inches on every single side, or I guess on the sides that matter. That's where I am right now. I put in a couple of darts so that it would fit more to my body. The thing that kind of has me stuck right now are the buttons. I did add a pocket right here at the bottom. This is the bottom left hand side, and it is a very small pocket for, I wanted it to be for a pocket watch. It suggested to put a pocket in on the top right hand side, and I didn't want to do that because I wanted, if I was going to be putting a pocket watch in it, I wanted to be able to have that classic pocket chain, watch chain across the front part. This pocket watch that I got for Christmas obviously goes in the pocket. I'm going to add a little loop over here so that I can attach the chain. So it's like that. Kind of hook it on the edge of the pocket like this. So it goes like that. All in all, I really like this. I think it would look better, obviously, with a color that is not also green, and probably with a colored blouse of some type. I think this might look good with something that's like, ooh, like a deep purple. I'm not really a fan of the bunching that's going up from the darts. Darts where they land right now make it look kind of awkward. I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. I think I like it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day. Bye.